Hello and welcome to an Envato Tuts Plus course. I'm Adi Purdila, and today you'll learn how to build an online clothing store using Shopify. Now, selling clothes online is a very profitable business, and you can do that very easily thanks to e-commerce platforms like Shopify. If you get the right theme and you configure your shop properly, you can get very close to running a successful online store. In this course, I'll be taking you through all the necessary steps, like adding products, creating collections, installing a new theme, and configuring that theme to match your store branding. So if you're ready to go, let's start by doing a little bit of planning before creating our store. That's coming up in the next lesson, so I'll see you there. Welcome to the first lesson of this course, where we'll go over the plan for our online store and see exactly what we need to create. Now, while this is a demo store that we'll be creating, we'll be adding content that's very close to the real thing. So this exercise should give you a pretty good idea of the process behind launching a real store. With that said, let's begin. Now, I have a very simple document that's going to outline the things that we need to create. So we're creating an online store for Urban Clothing, which is a brand new company that aims to sell high quality and affordable clothing. As you can see, we're selling clothing and accessories for women, men, and children. The website is urbanclothing.com. Here we just have a little bit more information about the company, the address, a couple of testimonials, and then we can see what our homepage should feature. We can see that we just want a contact and an about page. Of course, apart from the usual pages in an e-commerce website like homepage, collection, product, cart, and so on. These are the categories that we need to add, and these are the details we have to get started. On top of this, I also have a logo. This is the one that we'll be using. I have a theme. It's called Bix Bang. We'll get to this in a future lesson. And I also have product images. Now, the product images are split up in multiple folders. So we have one for accessories, and each product has its own folder where we can find images and also a short description. So the name, description, some other information about it, the variants of that product, and also the price. And you can see I have a file like this in every single directory for every product. So by having these set up beforehand will make our task of creating the store much, much easier. Now, before we get started, I would just like to make a quick mention. If you want to learn the basics of creating a Shopify store, you can check out a course that I did earlier this year. It's a free course on Envato Tuts Plus. It's called How to Build a Shopify Store. And this will show you basically all the details of how to get started with this platform. This course is more specific because we're building a clothing store. So there will be areas where I'll go more in depth than this introductory course. So make sure to check this out first and then watch the rest of this course. All right, so now that we have an idea of what we need to create, let's go ahead and do just that. We'll begin in the next lesson where we'll create the actual store. So I'll see you there. Welcome back to the course. In this lesson, we'll create the online store using Shopify. So let's begin. We'll go to shopify.com. And of course, if you already have an account, you would go ahead and log in. In my case, I'm going to click Start Free Trial, or I can enter my email address here and I can click this link. So let's go ahead and do that. Enter your email address, your password, and your store name. So let's say Urban Clothing. That's already taken. Let's say Urban Clothing Demo. That should be okay. So click Create Your Store. Next, Shopify is gonna ask us some questions like, are you already selling? And we'll just say that I'm not selling products yet. That's what we're doing right now. Do you have something to sell? I'm gonna select this third option. What is your current revenue? Let's say that I'm just getting started. And industry, let's select clothing. Are you setting up the store for a client? It really doesn't matter at this point. So we're going to just hit next. Now let's add an address. Here you would obviously just enter your business address. In my case, I'm just going to add some random numbers here. And after that's done, hit enter my store. And that's it. You now have an online store created and hosted on myshopify.com. All right, our store is now created, but we don't have any content on it. So let's take care of that. In the next lesson, we'll add some collections. So I'll see you there. Welcome back to the course. In this lesson, we'll start defining our store content by creating some collections. And these are basically categories we can use to organize our products. So let's begin. Now, let's quickly switch back to our store details I showed you previously and see what kind of categories we need. So we have categories for men, women, kids, accessories, and then 2 extra categories or collections: autumn for men, autumn for women. So let's go ahead and create those. To create a collection in Shopify, you would go to Products and Collections. Because this is a brand new store, we just have one default collection that's called Homepage. We can go ahead and delete this. Simply select it from here, click Actions, delete selected collections. Okay, so now we can start fresh. Hit Create Collection, and let's add the name here. Let's start with the first one on the list, men. We can give this a description, which is optional. Let's say clothing and accessories for men. We can set the collection type to either manual, and in here, we're basically going to have to add the products to this collection by hand, or automated, which will automatically add products to this collection based on certain conditions that we can set right here. In my case, I'm going to be setting this to manual for now. Down here, you can see a search engine listing preview. This is what your collection is going to look like as a result in a search engine. As you can see, the category name here, the link, and also the description that we just set here. So even though this is optional, I highly recommend you add a description because it's going to help with SEO. Now on this side, we can set the collection availability. So where is this collection available, on which sale channels? Currently, we just have the online store, so it's available on the online store. And finally, we can add a collection image. Now, in my product images, I have a category called miscellaneous. And here I have images that can be used throughout the store, but don't belong to a product. So for example, here I have some avatars. We will be using these to add the testimonials. But here I also have images for each category. So category men, category women, and so on. So what I'm going to do is click and drag this right here to set the collection image. And this, depending on the theme, will be displayed in various places in your website. So once everything is done, hit save. And now we have one collection available. We don't have any products in this collection yet. We will be adding those later on. So now let's go ahead and create the rest of the collections using the same method. And I'm going to show you one more, and then I'm just going to fast forward. So from this menu, we can select create another collection. Let's say women, and we can say clothes and accessories for women. Collection type, I'm going to set this to manual as well. And then for collection image, just drag and drop that to set the proper image. And when I'm done, hit save. All right, now let's add the rest of the collections. All right, so I just added the rest of the collections. So now if we go to the main page, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 collections ready to go, and we can start adding products to add to these collections. As you can see, not all of them have images, like the collection for kids and accessories don't have a collection image, and that's totally fine. As I was saying, depending on the theme, you might or might not see this image. So for these, I opted not to give them images. But in a real store, I recommend you set collection images for every single one you have. All right, so now that we've defined our collections, it's time to add products. We'll do that in the next lesson, so I'll see you there.